We are the land of the free, so long as we are the home of the brave. Not self, but country. At the foot of the Rockies, it's the first leg of the Commander-in-Chief's Trophy, and Navy has some momentum.
And the kick.
Oh, good! Navy wins it! Today, the Mids will need more of last week's magic. Air Force is 3-1, and nobody runs it like the Falcons.
Touchdown, Air Force!
Emotion, tradition, rivalry. Today, we all aim high with Navy and Air Force. You are watching the Home Depot College Football on a glorious morning at the foot of the Rocky Mountains. We have Navy and we have Air Force. Hi, everybody. Rich Waltz along with Aaron Taylor. Sherry Burris will join us shortly. The Commander-in-Chief Trophy is so coveted by these institutions and Army as well that it makes these matchups so intense and so much fun.
Oh, buddy, we are in for a treat today because we get to see the purest form of football that we have, that our sport has to offer. There's no NIL, there's no transfer portal. This is just blocking and tackling at its most glorious finest.
So, who has bragging rights right now? They've been doing this for 50 years. Air Force has the lead. Navy is at 16. Army sits at 9. Let's dig into Navy right now. Their offense starts with Ty Lavatai, who can throw it really well and run it.
The quarterbacks in these offenses have to make things go. Lavatai's more of a power runner, but he can throw the football. Coming off a huge game a week ago against ECU, 7 for 10, 150-plus yards and a touchdown. They'll need his arm today.
When Navy's on defense, they got to figure out a way to stop this guy. Brad Roberts is a force.
By the time Brad Roberts leaves the Air Force Academy, he could be the best and most productive fullback they've ever had. He's going to be a tall task for Navy defensively to try and stop, and if they can't, it's going to be a long afternoon.
And the two coaches are so associated with their teams, right? I mean, Ken Niumatalolo has been there 15 seasons, three-time AAC Coach of the Year, and of course, he knows Troy Calhoun well. There's no secrets between these two schools, these two teams, and these two coaches, right, Sherry Burris?
That's right, Rich, and there are two coaches who are more well-versed in this Navy-Air Force rivalry than Coach Troy Calhoun and Ken Niumatalolo. This is the 16th season Coach Calhoun's at the helm for the Falcons, while Coach Niumatalolo has been on the Navy coaching staff 25 of the last 28 seasons. These two head coaching combining for 40 years of coaching experience in this series, and that's for the second longest active coaching streak in the nation of head coaches who meet every year. And guys, the last time Navy and Air Force played each other without these two guys on the sideline, most of these players, they're only 4, 5, and 6 years old.
Thank you, Sherry. There's a look at Troy Calhoun, right now sitting at 3-1. Air Force is wearing Space Force uniforms as they debut those in front of the home crowd. Special day here in Colorado Springs. Glad you're with us for Air Force and Navy. The Home Depot College Football on CBS is sponsored by The Exchange, Aflac, Invesco QQQ, and by the Home Depot. It's all here, right? All the pomp and circumstance, a bone-rattling flyover. And we are ready to go. Navy won the toss, deferred. They will kick off. This football's going through the back of the end zone. Air Force, first possession. Their quarterback has proven himself, especially in this matchup, Zeke Daniels, and it's brought to you by Papa John's.
Yeah, Zeke Daniels is the quarterback. He's the straw that stirs this drink, Rich. Got banged up a little bit. They ran him pretty often, had 5 carries on that first drive last week against Nevada. He left the game. Ben Britton came back in, dropped an 80-yard touchdown, but Zeke Daniels appears to be healthy. His decision-making and legs are going to be key this afternoon.
From the 25, Roberts in the backfield. And he's got the first carry. And Navy has him after just 1 yard. Air Force's lineup, we talk about the outside and the backfield. How about that offensive line? And Isaac Cochran.
The Diesel, as they call him, are the big guys up front for Air Force. Isaac Cochran, old man Cochran up front, is the only senior on a junior-laden group. This line will take this team as far as they can. They're among the best in the country. They're going to need to be at their best against Navy, who's 5th in the country against the rush.
412 yards a game on the pitch. That's John Lee Eldridge. And Eldridge out across the 30 to the 33. It's going to bring up a 3rd down and a long 2.
Perimeter blocking is something that Air Force does a nice job of. As you see this play, keep your eye on number 27, Ben Jefferson, and number 88, Kyle Patterson. One of the new rules and points of emphasis this year, Rich, is blocking below the waist. These guys used to be lumberjacks out there on those wide perimeter plays, just chopping guys like trees. But this year they have to stay up, which makes their job more difficult.
So our first 3rd down here. Air Force is really good, one of the best in the country at it. Daniels rolling, looking, flips it, man wide open. That's Cormier. He's 20. He's 10. He's touchdown, Air Force. That didn't take long. 67 yards.
This is one of the things that makes playing Air Force or any option team so difficult is the eye discipline of the safeties. Look how everybody's responding to the run. And you see Cormier there running wide open. Rich, that's his 3rd reception on the year and also his 3rd touchdown. What a weapon.
He has an 80-yard catch for a score, 67 for a score. And the extra point is up and good. Air Force, aim high. You know they did.
Semper Supra indeed. Air Force offense flying early.
Scouting report says 3rd and 2 for Air Force. That's a run. Not this time.
No, what a great play call by Mike Thiessen, the offensive coordinator. Eye discipline is so important. This play action pass gets everybody on Navy's defense peeking into the backfield, and nobody sees David Cormier running right there. Stop it. There he is, right there, wide open. You have to be disciplined on the back end, and even for a defense that's as well versed against the option as Navy, Bad Eyes gave up a big touchdown early.
Boy, and big props to Mike Thiessen, the offensive coordinator. Both coaching staffs talked about we know each other so well that showing them something they haven't seen is not easy. And now we'll see if Navy has an answer. Ty Lavatai, part of our Papa John starting lineup for Navy's offense. He's kind of a rugged runner. You don't see that much in the triple option, but he's big, 6'2", 220.
He runs with power. There's no question about that. His legs, he doesn't touch it often, but when he does, he can push the pile, and that'll be important today. What he does best, though, Rich, we talked about it in the open. He was a high school pocket spread quarterback. He can throw it, and this game, as odd as it is, often comes down to who can throw it. But now he's lined up at a wide receiver, and we're seeing somebody else tote the rock. Some surprises early already.
Alex Mock comes up and pops Mikel Haywood, and both coaching staffs, little innovation, little trickery here. Let's try to get the other side off balance.
It's one of the unique aspects of this game. You mentioned it, how well they know each other. There's no secrets. They know how everybody adjusts, so being able to find a strategic advantage proves to be difficult, but both these teams pulling rabbits out of the hat early.
Just 2 yards on that first carry, and they're going to lose a yard here. Anton Hall Jr., the ball carrier, and down he goes. Navy's offense, a couple of slot backs, and one guy to worry about is Vincent Terrell, not necessarily carrying the ball. They like to throw to him.
He emerged as a passing threat last week. Got some pretty soft hands. 3 catches, 114 yards, and a 65-yard touchdown. I'd expect that they try to get the ball into Terrell's hands pretty early.
Man down right now. We'll identify it when we get back.
Air Force Athletics will let
Ken Niumatalolo, some concern right now for his fullback, Anton Hall Jr. Hall, the ball carrier on that play, came down awkwardly on that left arm right there.
And that's a big loss for this offense if he can't return to the game. Had 22 carries a week ago. He certainly was the workhorse.
Sherry, you're down below. What did you see?
Well, head trainer Jim Barry just told us it is an upper extremity injury for Hall. Saw him go into the medical tent, holding that left side, immediately leaning down on the trainer, or excuse me, on the table in the tent, Rich.
All right, Sherry, thank you. Both these teams want to stay away from this. 3rd down and 9. Lavatai, though, 7 of 10 for big yardage against East Carolina last week. Little screen pass. That's Haywood, and Haywood busts out, hit hard on the sidelines, late, I believe, and yes, flags have followed. It's a gain of 9 short of the first down, but Navy's going to get a first down with what looks like a late hit.
And that's a crucial penalty because he would have been short bringing up a 4th down, but because of the penalty by Michael Mack, it's a free set of downs for Navy, and Navy's really struggled early on in ball games this season.
After the play was over, personal foul, late hit out of bounds, defense, 15-yard penalty, and an automatic first down.
Michael Mack II, the junior out of Glendale, Maryland.
I was saying Navy struggled on their first possession of ball games, and right there, he's out of bounds. Clearly, this is a late hit. You have to be careful here, but these are the emotions that the Commander-in-Chief's trophies often bring with them. These games are intense, but you have to play smarter than that.
That's a big break for Navy. Ball out near midfield. Lavatai will throw it. Quick shot, and that's Umbarger with the catch. And Umbarger's got about 8 yards. Defensively, Air Force, they're really good in that second level. The linebackers and safeties, Alex Mock especially.
Yeah, Alec Mock is going to have a huge game today to take care of that box, take away the fullback dive, which is the thing that Navy wants to establish first and foremost. He leads the team in tackles, had 8 tackles a week ago in their game against Nevada. So to your point, that second level of linebackers needs to be very active, both inside and on the perimeter.
Point of emphasis for Navy today is first down, and that's a nice 8-yard pickup to start this sequence. Daba Fofana with the carry, and he's going to be short of the first down. He's going to break up a 3rd down and about 1. Now that Navy has the ball, keys to both sides.
Yeah, Navy struggled on 3rd down this season and certainly last week, so they got to be better there on early downs to be able to sustain some drives. And for Air Force, they have to limit explosive plays. Navy's going to have to put the football in the air because I just don't think they're stout enough up front to maintain consistent drives. So being able to make sure that they don't get beat over the head is going to be important.
Well, that play never had a chance to get off the ground.
Start. Offense, number 69, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
And this is huge. It takes a 3rd and short, and you're going to see the left guard there move a little bit early. And this is something I saw in the game a week ago against ECU. A lot of procedural stuff. There were some false starts, and Connor McMahon that time was the guy that moved, but the offense seemed a little disjointed. I think there was a couple penalties that could have gotten called last week that didn't, but they caught them here.
Certainly changes the play call now on 3rd down and 6. And another strike, nicely done, caught short of the first down. And this very Well, might be Navy going for it on 4th down and 2.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a PSA for the booth today and just blanketly say it's always 4-down territory when you have these offenses, especially across the 50. What's interesting, Rich, is both of these teams want to make the other one take their own medicine, right? They want to limit possessions, take the air out of the football, and make sure that the opposing team only has 8 possessions, which is why they go for it so often.
Lavatai, I don't think so. Air Force reaction is that he didn't get it. He's a big quarterback, but that time the push and the penetration was enough for Air Force. Kalawaya Piskaya made the stop. Air Force holds.
Well, Rich, first drives have been a problem for Navy so far. Punts, fumbles, turnovers on down, and another turnovers on down. Air Force defense doing their part as well.
$7-0 start for Air Force. Get nonstop sports news, expert picks, the biggest highlights on CBS Sports HQ, the free 24/7 sports news network. Download the CBS Sports app to watch today. If you download it, you'll see Sherry Burris on CBS Sports HQ. What'd you see on the 4th down?
Well, it's simple. Right here is Jaden Thiergood. He's been injured, but he's coming back. To be successful in short yardage, you have to prevent penetration. Thiergood plays off the block, stays on his feet, and he's the first one to be able to hit the legs of Ty Lavatai, which forced the turnover on downs.
Second touch. This is Eldridge trying to get him on the edge. And he's knocked out of bounds at the 48-yard line. Navy defensively, they get to the quarterback. That front 7 is very active. And Donald Bernyard is the nose guard, and a good one.
Yeah, Wyoming beat Air Force with great push inside and took away their ability to run inside. Brad Roberts was largely held in check, so Donald Bernyard has the ability, because they give him some latitude, to stem and stunt and move on the snap in unexpected ways, and that could be a great way to cause problems inside for Air Force today.
Roberts and Eldridge in the backfield for Daniels.
See the stem there.
Second down at 3. And then Roberts straight ahead. And it looks like he's got the first down. Gain of 3. Colin Ramos, the stop for Navy.
It's interesting. When you take a look at Air Force offensively, there have been so many injuries, particularly, Rich, on the perimeter. So it's made, going back to that Wyoming game, it's made it difficult for the Falcons to have some perimeter success. So John Lee Eldridge is a player that's kind of stepped up, but they really miss their playmakers out there. So if they can keep hitting them up inside, that bodes well to open up the rest of their offense.
Lack of perimeter speed hurt them against Wyoming, who contained Roberts. Daniels, another throw, right on the money. That's Cormier again. And I know it's not a touchdown. All his other catches have been touchdowns, but that's a big one, and it's deep now into Navy territory.
Zeke Daniels has a beautiful arm, but keep your eye on Nicholas Straw, number 51. He's on the left side of the screen. He'll show up here. He's sinking. If he sinks a little bit more, he might have had a chance at an interception, but to be able to drop that football in the bucket like he does there over the linebacker in front of the safety is next level quarterback play for an option team.
25 yards, and the football sits at the Navy 23. Daniels hit on a 67-yard strike to Cormier for the first score of the game. On the pitch, that's a crowded pitch. Somehow, though, Eldridge gets out, blasted out of bounds by Rayon Lane of Navy. And that play was a near disaster.
And that was because Nicholas Straw, again, playing the block very well at the point of attack, redirected Eldridge's track. And that's why they were able to almost have the disaster. So they're so close. But, man, you want to talk about a guy that's been on a roll. John Lee Eldridge, look at his touches and attempts. He's just getting better by the week.
And he's playing a lot because of DeAndre Hughes' injury.
Misalignment here by Navy.
Play clock down. Eldridge straight ahead. And he's planted right at the stick at the 13-yard line. It looks like he's got the first down.
Talking about the keys to the game, get 6 defensively for Navy. Navy's 12-3 since 2019 when they get any combination of 3-and-outs, turnovers, or 4th down stops. And for Air Force offensively, they have to eliminate negative plays. Because Navy likes to confuse offenses up front by using a fair amount of movement and some unique alignments, they have to be careful to not give up lost yardage.
Empty backfield, Jefferson in motion. 1st and 10. And Daniels steps through, breaks a tackle inside the 10 and down to the 8-yard line. Zeke Daniels for 5 yards.
We mentioned it earlier, but in that game a week ago against Nevada, he touched the football a lot on their first drive, had 5 carries for 29 yards. Only had 3 more for the rest of the game, though, because he fell on his left shoulder and landed a little bit awkwardly, had to go into the locker room, and that's when Ben Britton came in and dropped that dime, and hey, all of a sudden, Zeke Daniels said, hey, his shoulder's not hurting quite so much.
Roberts in the backfield, and he'll take it. Good penetration and good follow-through by Navy defensively. Avon Gibbons made the stop.
Really nice job here. You live by penetration, you die by penetration. Now Navy defensively is giving the Falcons a little bit of their own medicine. When you can get your hat across and cancel those gaps, it allows the cavalry to come. In this case, the midshipman defense. That was an excellent job up front, creating room for the linebackers to make some plays.
It's 3rd down and 5. Roberts on a pitch, cuts in, upended before he gets to the 1st down. Rayon Lane stops him right at the 5. This will be 4th down and 2 for Air Force.
This is an interesting decision for Troy Calhoun. Every possession matters, so the conservative call here is to take the field goal, and it looks like that's what they're going to do. You don't want to take too many chances, especially with the way that your defense is playing early. To have a chance here to go up 10-0 in a game of this magnitude is huge. I like this decision.
Matthew DePorce had a terrific year, 6 of 7, and he's got a big leg at this altitude. 54 and 51, his longest. This not that far. This is up and good. 23-yard field goal. And Air Force, a defensive stop and a nice drive. And Zeke Daniels to David Cormier is clicking today.
They are finding ways to get the football through the air. The Falcons getting it done, both up top and down low. Back here in a minute.
The Air Force Academy would like to thank the Association of Graduates.
Great start by the Falcons. On Thursday, Air Force football agreed to penalties for violations during the NCAA's COVID-19 ban on in-person recruiting in the football program, and 4 unnamed individuals agreed to the findings. A 5th is contesting their part. 3 former coaches hired in 2020 were reportedly linked to the violations and dismissed earlier this year. The penalties, which take effect immediately, include 2 years of probation, football squad size cut by 10 for 4 years, and unspecified show cause penalties for the 4 individuals in the agreement. Troy Calhoun and Air Force trying to get that Commander-in-Chief trophy back here in Colorado Springs. They have won it more than Navy, won it more than Army. A strong kick. We are at altitude, by the way, about 6,000 feet here. Falcon Stadium.
Very, very kicker friendly, but Air Force's defense hasn't been very friendly because they've been playing particularly physical up front. Getting ready for this game and watching the tape, Navy's offensive line just isn't what we're used to seeing. Air Force has a lot of speed. They've got a lot of strength. They're a young defense, and boy, have they been on point here early.
You know, Navy had to crank it up late against East Carolina through the air, and they did it really well. And they have thrown it well so far. Lavata's 3 of 3 for 20 yards. A little option near side. Terrell dancing. And the junior is going to be knocked out of bounds right at the 31-yard line. That's a gain of 6.
and that's really good for a first down play. That's really one of the keys, and we just mentioned it for Navy today. They struggled against, ECU a week ago. 22 first down plays, Rich. 15 of them were 2 or less yards. So that put them in some third and long situations. So to pick up 6 yards here on first down means their playbook is wide open.
That was a huge, huge win for Navy. It's going to be a loss of a yard, and so this will be a third down and about 5. I loved what Coach Niumatalolo said after the game. I mean, double overtime. East Carolina good. They should have beaten North Carolina State. He said, we really needed this win. We aren't some scrub program. We've won a lot of games here, and tonight was a big one.
I love it, man. And he's right. They're not a scrub program, but to have your coach come out and say that, like, winning changes everything. And when you see the post-game celebrations and the faces that Coach Ken makes, you'll know that he believes it when he means it.
And they have won a lot with Niumatalolo at the helm. Terrell on a dump off, and that's going nowhere. And there's that second level of the Air Force defense again. Trey Taylor coming up, Michael Mack as well.
Well, after picking up 6 yards on first down, it's back-to-back negative plays. That is so rare for a triple option offense and hard for any offense to overcome, but particularly for this Lavatide-led Midshipmen offense.
Riley Reithman is the punter. Amari Terry is deep for Air Force.
He's got some speed.
Air Force has scored on their first 2 possessions. Wobbler. And it kicks right and out of bounds. We'll see where they mark it. And it's going to be all the way up at the 40-yard line. Air Force with great field position. Please help those affected by natural disasters like Hurricanes Ian and Fiona. Visit redcross.org for more information. Here in Colorado Springs, just a glorious morning. And Air Force has put 10 up already. Daniels scrambling, and he's caught by Tyler Fletcher. Fletcher, who had a big stop late in the game against East Carolina, gets the sack here.
You're going to see Fletcher's going to be on this outside edge here. He's going to retrace his steps. He's going to come upfield and rush, but he sees that it's a pass. When he sees Zeke Daniels go, he retraces his steps, falls inside, and that makes Caleb Rios' block extremely hard. That is textbook technical play by an outside backer there.
That's the 11th sack already for Navy this year, and this is game number 4. And they're doing a nice job of containing one of the best running backs, or he's a fullback, a running back playing fullback, in Brad Roberts. And there's a look at Brian Newberry in his 4th season. He was a Broyles semifinalist back in that great season of 2019. Very creative defensive coordinator. And
also very appreciative of the puppy that you brought to our coaches call this week.
That's right. Well, that's my sidekick on any Zoom call. We all need a little support every now and then, AT.
I love it. Always enjoyed talking with Brian Newberry, a bright defensive mind.
Daniels on 3rd down and 9. Shot down the field. Whoa! How about that? Did Rios hold it? No, it's incomplete. Caleb Rios, the junior tight end out of Golden, Colorado, almost a spectacular catch.
Rich, I was down on the field watching these guys warm up, and their coaches were throwing some extremely hard catches. The concentration there is amazing. Rios hits the ground, which shakes the ball loose, but he still got a shot and just barely misses what could have been the most amazing catch he's ever made in his life.
Oh, ball hit there. You could see the bottom of the ball hit, but still almost a circus catch.
And what a great series by Navy. A 3-and-out to respond after their offense went 3-and-out. That could give them some juice here.
That's a long punt. That's a 59-yard punt. And it'll come out to the 20-yard line. And Navy will try to get their offense rolling here. This fall, from the producers of Grey's Anatomy, comes the new action drama where redemption is found. The new series, Fire Country, Friday, 8 Central on CBS. That's a great shot for that promo. Corey Fishman, our director, Kamani Morales, our producer. Been a great 2-day stay here at the foot of the Rockies. Gorgeous weather, Colorado Springs. Navy arrived on Thursday. They practiced on this field, walked through yesterday. Labatai tucks, and he's hit hard. T.D. Blackman, along with Jaden Thiergood.
Air Force's defensive line up front's doing a very good job of eating up the blocks of Navy internally. That's freeing up the linebackers. It's a dirty job to be a defensive lineman. A lot of times you're just trying to take up bodies to be able to look out for your buddies that are in the back. And as this first quarter ends, it's certainly been Air Force on both sides of the football that have been most dominant.
The Commander-in-Chief's Trophy. This is the first leg of it. This is Air Force and Navy. And a fast start by the Flyboys. Air Force a 10-0 lead. On to the second. Always like it when you're in uniform, right? Very nice. 10-0. Quick start by Air Force. And they're dealing with injuries right now, and they've lost a lot of speed.
Yeah, really been the story of this Air Force offense this season is how many guys have gone down. This would be tough for any offense, let alone an academy. You just don't go open up a new can of skill players, and their problems and their injuries keep mounting.
Where do you keep that can of skill players if you did have one?
It's hermetically sealed somewhere, maybe in NORAD.
Well, that's true, which is right behind the stadium, by the way, for you interested. Navy football. They've shown signs. Labatai has been accurate, flips this one up and had a man, then overthrows Vincent Terrell Jr.
Very similar play and rollout that we had saw earlier. Avon Gibbons this time in much better coverage, but he still gets behind. This is play action. He rolls out to the right, sets his feet, but just simply overthrows it. A little too much air underneath it, or that could have been another long touchdown.
I think many fans who are watching this game think, all right, triple option, both teams are going to keep it on the ground. Both these quarterbacks have been really sharp. Labatai is 4 of 5. Daniels 2 of 3, including a 67-yard touchdown. 0 of 2 on third down is Navy. Labatai's hit, and he's dropped. That's T.D. Blackman.
Well, it's usually Navy defensively that is causing problems, but this time T.D. Blackman's unaccounted for. He just delays his blitz, comes over. It's a full turn protection, so the running back to the right has to take the most dangerous. He doesn't. He takes the outside guy, and Blackman finishes him off for the sack.
It's a loss of 5. Reithman in again to punt. Amari Terry deep. And a fair catch called for and made at the 34-yard line. Air Force gets it again. Falcons. This is the first leg of the Commander-in-Chief Trophy. And the defense playing well. Just a great scene here for Air Force and Navy. And Sherry Burris is down below with Air Force Athletic Director Nathan Pine.
All right, thank you, Rich. Well, what I mean, an amazing rivalry here. What does it mean to have Navy Air Force back here in Colorado Springs?
We got a great day for it. It's a special rivalry. We're excited. Obviously a big crowd in here today, so couldn't have ordered up a better day. This
is the 60th anniversary of Falcons Stadium. I hear there's going to be some new renovations you want to share.
Yes, ma'am. Well, it's a beautiful stadium and venue, but it's time for a little bit of an upgrade. So behind us over our right shoulder here, we're going to redo the east side of the stadium, put about $90 million into it, and it'll be a great renovation. Improve half the stadium experience for all of our fans. So long overdue, and we're excited to get it underway.
All right, thanks, Nathan.
Thanks so much.
Rich, back to you.
All right, thanks, Sherry. That's a fumble. Ball's loose and batted out of bounds. That was a heads-up play there by Amari Terry. It was loose, and he literally reached out and knocked it out of bounds.
It was incredible, Rich. Great eyes here. The exchange, this is one of the true options. You see Zeke Daniels put his left hand there to buy him some time to put himself away from the defender. But, man, what about being heads up for Terry to prevent that turnover? That could have been just the sort of juice play that helped Navy get their first of their get 6.
It's a loss of 7 and 2nd down and 17. Daniels would throw it. That's Cormier. 3 catches for Cormier.
Beanie Williams there on the coverage, falls down. The ball's underthrown, so this is basically ends up being a semi-back shoulder throw. Really good protection, which allows Daniels to set his feet, and then it's just a little 7-on-7 crime there.
That's 28 yards into Navy territory. As you noted, both of these quarterbacks came from throwing heavy programs in high school. They had to learn how to run this offense, but their throwing abilities and skills are pretty evident. And Daniels inside the 40 with the 37-yard line. And that's a gain of 6.
This is a quarterback lead play. You're going to see number 28 on the lead block there, making room for Daniels. Really nice job of the variations of this run offense. A lot of people think the Air Force is a triple option offense. It's got triple option foundation. It's based in that, but there's a lot of trap, there's a lot of counter, there's lead that we just saw. They run a lot of traditional run concepts. Very good at it.
Now 2nd and 3. Roberts with a burst inside the 30, down to the 29-yard line. That's a 1st down, and Air Force is rolling.
Yeah, they are. And watch these edge blocks here, the double teams that creates the space to be able to come around for Roberts here. Watch that sift up to the 2nd level. That is an outstanding job there on the perimeter, and another unique run style. There was nothing option about that. But here's Caleb Rios. He's now starting because Kyle Patterson left the game early. He's gone to the locker room, and Sherry's going to keep an eye on it, but he hasn't been back.
Roberts, maybe a yard. Time for a day in the life of a cadet, brought to you by Today's Military. Look at this. So 6:15 wake up. Aaron Taylor is still asleep at that point.
No question.
6:45 breakfast, or 7 o'clock breakfast. Aaron is dreaming about breakfast at that point in time. And then it's on to class, marching, lunch, officer development, team meetings, practice, shower and treatment, dinner and film, and finally to bed at 2300 hours. That's just like you at Notre Dame, right?
Yeah, except there was one less breakfast on there. I was a double breakfast guy. I probably couldn't pronounce or spell half the classes these guys take. It's unbelievable. This is recess for these guys.
Daniels slips through, takes a pop, but that pop knocks him right into a 1st down, it looks like.
It certainly did. That was Jacob Busick. He's really been stepping up his game, but this is a trap scheme, a quarterback. There were some pancakes up there, but Busick laying the wood there on the quarterback. What a player he's been. A week ago, he had a forced fumble and a half sack against ECU. There was some questions about whether or not he got the sack or not. Busick, I'm coming to your defense. You got it. You were in there on the half sack, and he laid the wood there. But, Rich, you mentioned it. Not after the Falcons got the 1st down.
Inside the 20, inside the red zone. Eldridge in motion. Daniels reverses to the right side. Ball's loose, and Navy has it. Navy has the football. Daniels had it pried loose, and there's your big turnover.
That's huge. Ryan Newberry told us last week he was proud of his defense because he had never seen them be able to punch and make as many attempts of getting the ball out as he did last week. That veritable get 6, the key for them to be able to do it, certainly shows up here, and that's just the sort of play Navy needed to get themselves back in this game.
Justin Reed, the junior, falls on the fumble. Navy has their break. Let's see if they can stick it in the end zone next. With an Academy-themed update.
Love it. Love it, love it. I'm sure that's music to the ears of both of these teams.
Fumbles usually don't happen in this game, and they usually don't happen for Air Force, but look at this year.
Ball security's been a problem, especially that loading game.
Navy trying to get outside. Haywood up the left side. And he looks like he's got the first down. He's across the 25 for a 12-yard gain. Getting out on the outside, getting that speed out is a priority for both these offenses.
Yeah, and that was a really nice job there. Mikael Haywood in that slot back position. He was targeted twice through the air a week ago, but had 13 touches for 67 yards, averaged 5.2 yards per carry, picks up 10 there. They should keep feeding him.
14th career start for Ty Lavatai. Blitz is on. Man open. Caught. Mark Walker. And Walker out near midfield to the 48. A big play. That's a nice connection.
It was a nice connection. It looked like there was pretty good pocket presence up front, some backside pressure, but on the move. Look at that location of the football by Ty Lavatai. That's going back to his high school days. We mentioned it. He was kind of a spread quarterback. That was pretty decent coverage there by Cassenway that time. And Lavatai threw it perfectly.
Both these quarterbacks look sharp in the throwing game. Lavatai across midfield to the 49. About a 3-yard pickup. Look, his stock sky high after beating Army last year, right? That was a huge upset for Navy, and Lavatai was a key in that win.
There's no question about that. You can see what they're focusing on this season. And why wouldn't you, when he can put his feet in the ground, feeling some backside pressure there and move the sticks, keep chucking it.
Second down, 6. Quick pitch again to the perimeter. This is Haywood. And he's rushed out of bounds at the 46-yard line. Gain of about 3. This will set up a 3rd down and a long 4.
Keep your eye right here on T.D. Blackman. The eyes, like a running back, have to lead the feet. And when he sees it, he hits right away, but he takes a poor angle. He's got to flatten out there at the end. He misjudges Haywood's speed, and that allowed him to pick up those extra downs and bring up a 3rd and 4. Had he taken a better angle, it might be a little bit longer of a try here on 3rd.
Strength of this Air Force defense, their secondary, the 3 safeties, and the linebackers. And we've seen it this season. We've seen it today. 3rd and 4, just past midfield.
Wasn't set. You got to be set for a second. This is exactly what I saw in film study with Navy's offense.
Navy
being a little off
first
guard.
of the half.
They called a timeout right before, and smartly so, with a new quarterback.
Yeah, new quarterback, Xavier Arline, who's a better runner, a little more speed than Lavatai. We'll see if he stays in after this timeout. The Home Depot Foundation is on a mission to make a difference in the homes and the lives of our nation's veterans. In today's Do Project Smarter, presented by Home Depot, take a closer look at the story of U.S. Marine Corps Major Tyler Tidwell, who was diagnosed with ALS.
Tyler's military career, he excelled at everything. I still remember sitting up in the stands when he would play Navy football, and he was just the best.
She's lying.
No, he was made for doing big things. Tyler got back from one of his deployments in October. We were just laying in bed one night, and he started crying, and he just said, "Something's wrong. You know, I know something's wrong." And then a year later, he was diagnosed officially with ALS. The Home Depot Foundation and Tunnel to Towers came in, and they put ramps in the front and in the garage, widened doorways. We also have the lift that was put in. Something as simple as Tyler going to the bathroom. It used to take almost an hour. Now we can have it done in less than 6 minutes. He's able to do things in his home that he wasn't before. The fact that we can almost have a normal life, we don't even have words. The Home Depot Foundation has given Tyler a way to keep moving forward.
We heard about Tyler's story at the end of last season, and we checked in with the family to see how they've adjusted to the new home. The home renovation modification's life-changing, they said, but they also shared that the disease has advanced and his disabilities have become more severe. The modifications, though, have enabled the family to stay comfortably still in their own home. And Tyler says we could not be more grateful to the Home Depot Foundation and Tunnel to Towers for the incredible support they've given us. Thank you to Tyler for your service. Navy on the move.
Lavatai back under center.
3rd and 4. Lavatine pulls it, and he's wrapped up. 3 defenders there to get him. Vince Sanford the first. It's going to be 4th down and about 5.
This is a long 4th and 5. You're across the 50, so you're tempted to do it. But this Air Force defense has been playing lights out. But you get a sense that with it being 10-0, Navy does get the football back to start the second half. But I think Ken Niumatalolo wants to be a little bit more aggressive here, and I don't blame him.
We'll see if they throw it. I mean, Lavatine's 5 of 6.
And you also have to be careful of not getting drawn off sides of your Air Force. This may be a bluff here. That's what it appears to be.
They'll take the delay of game, and they'll kick it away. Aaron Taylor sniffed that one out.
Well, it's a smart area in the field to do it because you give your punter a little bit more room to kick the pooch punt and try to get this Air Force offense backed up a little bit.
So Navy right now, total yardage has 63 yards in the first half. Air Force has 179. A big chunk of that came on that 67-yard touchdown throw from Daniels to Cormier.
And remember, Rich, they had brought Xavier Arline, which was a surprise to Air Force, but they had to use a timeout. They gave up all their element of surprise because something wasn't right.
Reithman, high kick. And into the end zone it goes. It's a 51-yard kick, but it's coming out to the 20. Navy, Air Force, great atmosphere and scene here in Colorado Springs. 10-0 Falcons. And thank you. Of course, this is the first of 2 here on CBS. Off to the SEC for number 2 Alabama, number 20 Arkansas with Brad Nessler, Gary Danielson, and Jenny Dell. 10-0 Air Force down to Sherry Burris with an injury update on a talented tight end.
Rich, I've been watching tight end Kyle Patterson. He was in the locker room for a total of 40 minutes. You see him back here on the sideline, now in street clothes and shorts. No official word from Air Force of what his injury is, but guys, another key offensive player out for the Falcons.
Boy, Sherry, it's been that way for the last 2 or 3 weeks. Roberts, who's as indispensable as they come, and so far he's been able to stay healthy. Nolan Barber made the stop for Navy. There's a look at Patterson. He's a guy that has NFL-type body, NFL-type ball skills, and they threw it to him at Wyoming, and boy, did he look great on the receiving end.
Yeah, he's 6'6", 250 pounds, comes from a good bloodline. His dad played the NFL, was a defensive lineman, spent some time with the Packers for a little bit, so he's a big loss, big opportunity for Caleb Rios, though.
Eldridge and Roberts set up behind the tackles. That's Eldridge. High pitch. Eldridge has this one. Gets outside and is knocked out of bounds by Rayon Lane of Navy. The first 2 possessions for Air Force, pay dirt, right? Touchdown field goal. Not the last 2.
Yeah, Brian Newberry's group doing a really nice job. 3 and out followed up by a punch out for a turnover when Air Force was marching on a 7-play, 51-yard drive. They got that ball back, but unfortunately their offense wasn't able to get anything done with it. Now keep your eye on the play clock down here with 5 minutes to go. Air Force is more than capable to bleed this whole clock as they march down the field, and that's exactly what they're going to try to do.
Daniels to throw, little swing pass, Eldridge to catch. Now to the 28-yard line, short of the first down. It looks like Navy has forced a punt here.
And that's a big stop for this Midshipmen defense. Really nice job to be able to get themselves off the field because possessions are a premium. Brian Newberry's group, after we just showed that drive chart, after these first 2 drives have really buckled down back-to-back 3 and outs, giving their offense an opportunity to get the ball back, Rich. And we mentioned it already. Navy starts the second half with the ball, so they may have an opportunity here to double dip.
Carson Bay's first punt was a boomer, and this one's going to land in the arms of Amin Hassan. And Hassan dances out of bounds. Navy has plenty of clock. And the football with 4:11 left in this first half.
Yeah, Kalawaya Pascayas, Troy Carrera, Jaden Feargood. This defensive line for Air Force has been outstanding. They're winning their matchup. We started this show talking about the purest form of football, blocking and tackling. Air Force has done a masterful job of showing their athleticism and their physicality up front.
And their biggest play was on that 4th down with Navy driving in Air Force territory. And there's the Navy drive chart. They've put together a couple. The first one, which ended in that 4th and 1, and their last one, they've moved the football at times. Lavatai, plenty of time, and Green in front of him. Good move there, but he runs into Alec Mox, and when you run into Alec Mox, you usually don't go any further.
This was really good coverage by Air Force. They knew, or were expecting, appeared so, that Navy would come out and throw the football. They're in shotgun, which bodes itself well for that. Navy will mix it up, but there's nowhere for him to go with the football, so he smartly tucks it and picks up some important yards on 1st down.
I mean, the shotgun is significant. It's somewhat of a departure from the regular offense. In the Army game last year, they were in shotgun a lot.
They will adjust and adapt as necessary.
Lavatai has the 1st down, across the 40, out to the 41.
And I like this decision-making here from a play-calling standpoint by Ken Niumatalolo. Get your quarterback's legs involved. Make them respect your interior run. And Lavatai's ability to use his legs, that's what's going to open up the downfield throw game.
He's 5 of 6 for 41 yards. Daniels for Air Force 4 of 5 for 124 yards.
Now there's a late substitution coming in here. You got to watch the play clock. There's only 3 minutes left. They've got 2 timeouts. They're still taking their sweet time. The clock management is something they've got to keep an eye on.
Lavatai puts it up. He was under pressure. He just wanted Terrell to find the ball and run under it.
He did a nice job of that, but unfortunately the sun is almost directly behind the offense. Look at the shadows on the ground, and that makes it really hard for Terrell to turn around. And Lavatai, he had Mock in his face. He does what he can, and that's just give his guy a chance to go get it and hope to get lucky.
2nd down and 10. Another 1st down with not a lot of yardage, no yardage there, and that's been an issue for Navy's offense so far this year. Blitz comes, Lavatai stands in, fires to the sideline. Boy, is he accurate, and does he look comfortable slinging it. Jaden Umbarger with the catch.
Yeah, and that's a tendency breaker there. 2nd and 10 after an incompletion is almost always run because you want to give yourself a makeable 3rd down. Ken Niumatalolo breaking form there and picking up the 1st down, which is great because there's 2:20 and change left with 2 timeouts. Navy wants to make sure that they get points here and not leave any time for Air Force to get the ball back to try to do the same.
Air Force 46 is where the ball sits. Lavatai out of St. John's, Florida. Little quarterback draw. He's going to get 3 yards. Under
Navy,
2 minutes now. CBS Sports celebrates Hispanic Heritage Month. And I'm with you. You know, Navy was not in a real hurry, and all of a sudden they're going to, well, there's an injured player down, so that's going to stop the clock. 1:46 left. Daba Fofana is down, and we'll return with Navy on the move. Final moments of this 1st half. Air Force dancing in their first 2 possessions. They scored quickly. The Navy right now trying to get on the board.
Looks like Daba Fofana gets rolled up there inadvertently. And because that was an injury timeout, it stops the clock but preserves Navy from having to use one of their 2 remaining timeouts, but also gives them the benefit to talk about the strategy here for the last minute 46.
But Navy's lost 2 fullbacks. Anton Hall, remember, went out, and we're told he will not return. And now Fofana is on the bench.
Well,
Logan Point is their 3rd string fullback, and a good one. They have depth in that spot. Lavatai's throw, and that was for Haywood. And it's incomplete. Now all of a sudden, it's 3rd down and 7.
So the decision making to let the clock play itself out bears itself out in this sort of situation, because in the event that Navy doesn't get this here, and you take a look, they've struggled on third down mightily, and today 0 for 4. There's a very good chance that Air Force is going to get this ball back, which is why, if I'm Navy, I'm trying to burn the clock, high percentage throw, or run it to force Air Force to use one of their timeouts.
Blitz comes. Lavatai's throw, and incomplete. It looked like Logan Point, the third-string fullback, was in the pattern, but did not see the ball until late.
Yeah, Vince Sanford was in really good coverage here, and it was another situation where Lavatai just kind of threw the ball up, double blitz up the middle, makes Lavatai throw the football before he wanted to, and now the clock stops, giving Air Force their best opportunity. There was a little bit of shoving and pushing there between those two, but I think that was a good no call there.
How much blitz recognition does he need from his receivers? And in that case, his fullback, Logan Point. High punt. And looks like this one's going to be down. Oh! Into the end zone it goes. Navy had it corralled. And it comes out to the 20. Coming up, Adam, Rick, BJ will break down the first half. Highlights from around the country on the Geico halftime report.
Rich, what I love about these offenses and games like this, when it's academy on academy, is that they're unique animals. And that means that the 2-minute situations are also unique. So decision-making here for Troy Calhoun, who's watched his team turn the football over against this Navy defense who's got some juice right now. His decision-making and play calling is interesting as well. But Navy has 2 timeouts themselves. So it's a pretty thin runway that Air Force is being asked to walk here. A first down solves all.
If Navy wasn't getting the ball to start the second half, would they have gone for it on 4th and 7?
It's interesting, and I didn't like the play call. We had to go to commercial right there, but there was something else that I would have dialed up because that play didn't have a chance.
Daniels gets a chunk of yardage. They try to rip the ball out again, but 14 more yards. Gianni Woodson-Brooks, the stop for Navy.
And that's a great opportunity. You've got some time here with Hazik Daniels picking up that first down. Now Air Force is in a situation where they can afford to take some shots down the field here. And you see those guys in white trying to punch that ball out.
And Daniels has hit those shots today. He's 4 of 5, 124 yards. And he's going to go over the middle, and it's incomplete. And that was his tight end, Caleb Rios, again.
Stops the clock there with 47 seconds, maybe with 2 timeouts. Maybe you're thinking run here, but you're liking the way that your defense is playing against Navy, so maybe you can afford to be a little bit more aggressive and put the ball in the air again.
We told you Matthew DePore has a big leg, 54 and 51 yarders this year. Quarterback draw, and Navy has it sniffed out and defended well. And that's going to be a loss of maybe a yard.
And quarterback draws are something that really hurt this Navy defense a week ago against ECU, but to your point, they sniffed that one out, and because Daniels runs out of bounds, it stops the clock again. Things are going pretty well here for Navy.
3rd down and 11. Geico halftime report is coming up. Entertaining half here. First leg of the Commander-in-Chief Trophy. The Air Force a 10-0 lead. Daniels steps into the pocket, lines up, lost the ball. Is it a fumble or a throw? Navy seems to be on it. They say they have it. And they do. Jacob Busick in the middle of that play. And Navy has a huge turnover with 34 seconds left.
This is an unnecessary risk taken by Air Force. They're trying to get too greedy here, pushing the ball down the field. And who is it? None other than Jacob Busick, the player that stays alive. But they're going to have to determine whether or not his arm was moving forward or not. And I don't think it was, Rich. I think this is going to stand as called on the field because Busick got there before Hazik Daniels' arm started moving forward. And they're not going to even look at it.
Little reverse pitch here, and that's Terrell. He's to the 20. Terrell inside the 15 and out of bounds. Trey Taylor knocks him out. What a turn of events for the Midshipmen.
Oh my gosh, the unnecessary risk by Air Force is playing right into the Midshipmen's hands. Remember, they get the ball back to start the second half. Air Force defensively is not handling the sudden change well. Navy's taken advantage of it and is in scoring position with 2 timeouts in their pocket.
At the 13-yard line.
Their whole playbook's wide open.
Air Force showing blitz. Play clock's down. Fofana back in. And Peyton Zadroik and Alec Mock for Air Force. It's going to be a loss of a yard or 2. Navy takes a timeout. So will we. 14 seconds left in this first half. Air Force up 10-0. In this matchup, turnovers really, really matter. 9 straight wins for the game leader, and Navy has forced 2 Air Force fumbles.
Yeah, and they've both been by Hazik Daniels, their sure-handed quarterback. But Jacob Busick getting there right before he threw the football. Back-to-back weeks where Busick's ability to get after the quarterback proving a difference. Now, we talked about get 6 for Navy. If they get 6 of a combination of turnovers, 3 and outs, or turnovers on downs, they win the game. They've got 4 so far here in the first half.
All right, let's see what they dial up. They did put some time back on the clock. There's 22 seconds left. Blitz is coming. Labatai's toss, and wow. Haywood, Michael Mack coming up and making the play. Bo Richter in there as well, but it was Mack with the hit and the stop, and the clock running down. Navy's going to have to call a timeout and settle for a shot at 3. And they do get the timeout before the clock elapsed.
Yeah, a couple things on here. I thought Brian Knorr, the defensive coordinator, did a good job of bringing pressure, but I thought there was an over route here that was open right there. 87's wide open, but because of the pressure and almost the predetermined flare pass out of the backfield, had Labatai maybe been able to see his trusty tight end, they might have been able to put that in the end zone, because Air Force was all over that swing pass.
It almost felt like, as well, had Navy called the timeout, they might have had time to take another shot in the end zone, but it's 3rd down and 17 here, and there's only 3 seconds left.
Yeah, and Daniel Davies was the hero a week ago against ECU. Had never kicked in a college game, wasn't expected to be the starter because of the extremely talented player ahead of him, but here he's got a chance to end this half on a positive note.
37-yard attempt. And it's up, and it's good, and Navy is on the board. Points on the board for Navy. 10-3 at the half. Navy and Air Force. For Sherry's halftime interview with Coach Calhoun, go to Twitter at CBS Sports. Now we send you to New York. Adam Zucker in our New York studio for the Geico halftime report. Just perfect weather here on the Academy grounds in Colorado Springs. Air Force at home, and on top of Navy 10-3. Rich Waltz, Aaron Taylor, Sherry Burris will join us shortly. This looked like an Air Force runaway early. They scored in their first 2 possessions, but Navy's defense held and all of a sudden got them back in the game.
They've been the quiet hero of this game, and give a lot of credit to Navy on both sides of the football, because they got some things going offensively as well. We got a 1-score game at halftime between Air Force and Navy. Shocker, right? We knew this one was going to be close, but you take a look at the Home Depot first half game trends. Hazik Daniel 4 for 6 throwing the football, but those 2 lost fumbles, Rich, have proved to be a difference maker here
And Daniels hit David Cormier on a 67-yard touchdown to get the scoring started. Cormier has been targeted a lot, and there's that defense that stood up. And here are the fumbles that you talked about.
This really is the story of the first half. Air Force came out firing, but they've gotten in Zeke Daniels' face and forced his decision-making early. But he's also been putting the ball on the ground twice for 2 big turnovers. Once on a run, and then this sack by Busick there late in the second quarter created Navy's first scoring opportunity. And now they get the ball back here the second half. This is all about adjustments for both of these teams. I'm expecting the third and fourth quarter to be as entertaining as the first.
Matthew DePore ready to kick it off. Don't get many returns in this stadium. It's a fair catch. Let's go down to the field and check in with Sherry Burris. Sherry?
Rich, Coach Calhoun telling me they need to be stronger with the ball to limit those 2 turnovers that you guys were talking about. Also wants to come out and be aggressive to start this second half, just like they did in the first. As for head coach Ken Niumatalolo, he said he likes the way his defense is playing, already getting 4 of those get 6. And he mentioned the importance of this opening drive, going to be huge to keep the momentum that they scored off that late turnover. And now they have the ball back here again. Rich?
All right, good stuff, Sherry. They'd love to get 6, as in 6 points on this drive. They did move the football at times. Had a couple drives over 30 yards, had another one close to 30 yards. Lavatai across the 30, out to the 34-yard line. They mark it at the 33. It's a gain of 8.
And they're picking up right where they left off in that first half. Lavatai's legs really played a factor in that second quarter. Navy in the first quarter only had 28 total yards, but had 73, averaged over 4 yards per carry in that second quarter. And number 1 under center here was a big piece of that.
Daba Fofana, the fullback, who returned after an injury in that second quarter, and Fofana runs right into a pile of Air Force Falcons.
The Falcons have dominated inside today, Rich. And remember, with the triple option, you want to stop the fullback dive first. Everything stems off of that. But you look at these first half possessions for Navy, they really struggled to get anything going until that fateful turnover there at the end of the second quarter.
It's a big third down here. Niumatalolo is the head coach and the offensive coordinator. He calls the plays here. Former quarterback himself at the University of Hawaii. Third down and 2. And this is going nowhere. T.D. Blackman and Vince Sanford smother Haywood.
The life of a linebacker is not easy, but you have to have good eyes and good instincts. See ball, get ball. Watch T.D. Blackman here. He sees this, triggers right away. This play did not have a shot. That's great coaching. He expected it to come, and a really good reaction by the player.
0 of 7 on third down is Navy in this football game. Kellen Grave de Peralta with the punt. And it's a long one, and again, Navy has had trouble downing it inside.
Yeah,
that's a mammoth punt. 68 yards. Tomorrow, NFL on CBS doubleheader. Early games headlined by a battle in Baltimore. Bills and Ravens there. Then a legendary coach heads to a legendary location. Bill Belichick and the Patriots. Lambeau Field. Aaron Rodgers is waiting. It all begins at noon Eastern with the NFL Today. Tomorrow on CBS.
1 or 2 good quarterbacks in those.
Yeah, and a guy in that shot, Phil Simms, was one of the guys that worked with Zeke Daniels. Remember that story in the summer?
Right, that's right.
Daniels had a couple of throwing coaches or quarterback coaches and worked a little with our Phil Simms. That's Roberts who breaks loose. And Brad Roberts busts across the 35, picks up 17 yards.
Well, we talked about that non-traditional run scheme. Keep an eye on the right guard here. Going to pull across and seal that outside edge. This is a basic football play, just a power, but because it gets long, boom! He just absolutely pancakes Will Harbor there. And Air Force off and running early. Great job by Isaac Cochran, the offensive lineman we highlighted at the beginning of the game.
At the longest run of the day, at the 37, Daniels. One of the tough things about the option-based attack, You got to look good. Certainly. A little haircut going on.
The guy in the back over his right shoulder.
Very nice. Is you have to expose your quarterback to a lot of hits. And sometimes keeping a guy like Haaziq Daniels upright can be a challenge.
You have to manage it. It's one of the things that if you're running this style of offense, you have to pay particular mind to. So now Air Force taking its sweet time trying to bleed that clock. They made some adjustments, which gives Navy the opportunity. But now you got to watch a play clock that's at 3 seconds.
And I don't think they got it off in time. They didn't.
Delay game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Nate Black, our referee.
And there's nothing worse, Rich, that gets coaches fired up and fries their ham than poor execution. Because of the late adjustment, it allows Navy to make adjustments. But what defenses are doing is they're taking even their sweeter time coming to the line of scrimmage, which pushes things back. They should have taken a timeout or snapped the ball there. But poor execution by Air Force after a huge win.
Second down, 13. First possession, second half. Roberts bottled up. He broke that nice run. For the most part, Navy has kept him in check in this Navy defense. And if you're scoring with us at home, here's a look at what Air Force has done against the defense. The last 4 drives, 71 yards, couple punts, couple fumbles.
No drive over 7 plays since those first 2 scoring drives.
1 of 5 on third down. Blitz comes. Daniels' throw is low. Cormier, who else, is the target, and a flag. Now 2 flags are down back where Daniels went down, and this could be roughing the passer.
Yeah, that might be on Donald Bernier.
Roughing the passer. Defense, number 90. 15-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
Berniard.
Yeah, Berniard was the player of the game last week because of all his assists. You see that, and he picks him up right here and drives him to the ground.
He tried to plead his case at the end of this. Watch the end of
got to be careful. I mean, watch Haaziq Daniels' head hit the mat there. We saw what happened with Tua Tagovailoa. So this is a penalty that should have been called. And Berniard's a heck of a player. He's just got to be smarter than that.
So this is into Navy territory. Big break for Air Force. Colin Ramos makes the stop on Roberts at the 45-yard line. These academy games, you know, with Army, Navy, Air Force, have a tendency to be tight. And we talked about it. Every institution takes weeks, if not months, of preparing for these 2 games. For Air Force, it's the Navy-Army game. For Navy, it's the Air Force-Army game. They prepare for it in the spring, they prepare for it in the summer, and even in the fall. Roberts on a pitch to the 40, short of the first down. They'll mark it at the 41. This will be 3rd down and 4.
As we go into 3rd down here, I want you to take a look at Navy's defense and how flat they are along the line of scrimmage. There's 4 defensive linemen there and 1 middle linebacker. It's basically a 6-1 look. They felt that getting bigger at the line of scrimmage was going to be able to help them. But when you got pancake blocks like that, it doesn't matter how you line up. But that go package, something the defensive coordinator, Brian Newberry, felt would help them stop this rush. And so far, he's been pretty right.
There's movement flags, and 3rd down and 4 is going to turn into 3rd down and 9.
False start. Offense, number 84. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
You know, it's interesting coming into today's game. They said 84, but yeah, it looked like it was up here. So they might have gotten that a little bit incorrect. But nonetheless, Rich, a costly penalty there, making 3rd medium, now 3rd and long.
These are 2 of the fewest penalized teams in the country. 2nd and 3rd only to Michigan.
Great stop here by Navy defensively. Neither unit was very sharp. Each had a costly penalty. But how about the Midshipmen lets them get across the 50 and stops them? The play here is to try to punt the ball away and back Navy's offense up. Don't get cute here if you're Air Force.
Ryan Newberry, we had a chance to talk to a couple of his players as well. One of the things they said is they love Mondays because Ryan Newberry is a risk taker and a creative defensive coordinator. He keeps them on their toes. They say every week it's a new wrinkle or two.
Nicholas Straw, their Raider, said it's the most fun I've ever had playing football, playing with Coach Newberry.
There's flags down and a hat is down. I didn't see a beanbag, but that might be coming too, as the ball went out of bounds around the 20-yard line, but there was a collision.
There was a big pileup and looked like a pancake, but might have been some extracurricular outside the framework going on.
During the kick, holding, receiving team, number 3. 10-yard penalty from the end of the kick. Down, timeout.
That was Elias Larry with the hold. The hat is up, the flag is up, and we are gone, but coming back. 10-3 Air Force. Time to test your knowledge with today's AFLAC trivia question. First, we give you a little background. Flying high on the ground. Air Force is great on the ground. Look at that. First, and this year first. They could lead the nation in rushing 3 years in a row. And the Duck says it's the last team to do that. 3 or more consecutive seasons.
Man, I want to say like a Nebraska team back in the 80s or 90s. Maybe in Oklahoma, some sort of option-based team that's outside.
You don't think it was
box.
an academy? You don't think Navy was rolling at one point?
Yeah, probably.
I mean, remember in 2019, they were 11-2 and 20th in the nation. In 2015, Navy finished 18th in the nation. Labatai over the middle, connects at the 30, caught there, tumbling forward again is Jaden Umbarger. And they're out from up against their end zone. Nicely done.
Yeah, this is the second time we've seen Labatai hit these in-breaking routes right in stride. It's really good coverage there, but there is no defense for a perfectly thrown football.
Labatai now, impressively, 8 of 12, 77 yards, and that's coming off a great game throwing the ball at East Carolina, the double overtime win. Labatai trips, no fumble, and maybe a gain of about 4.
Rich, you want to take a look at the play choice. The Midshipmen have been throwing it around. They've averaged 12 basically per game this season. They've already gotten 12. We mentioned it right at the beginning of the show that Labatai's arm had to show up today because the Midshipmen were likely going to have to throw the football to win, and that's certainly holding up.
Second down, 6. Getting outside. And that's Haywood out to midfield. That's nicely designed. Navy trying to test the perimeter.
Gets the first down.
And they've got a first down at the 49-yard line.
This is an outstanding job of making adjustments for this Navy football team. This is their longest drive of the day. Prior to this drive, their longest drive had been 35 yards. So when they started this drive backed up where they were because of the great coverage by Air Force, it didn't look good, but here they are, 1st and 10 midfield.
Labatai, had a man, overthrows the intended receiver.
Pass intended for Walker is incomplete.
Well, if you want to affect the throw game, you got to get pressure. Keep your eye right here coming across. That's Peyton Zadroit, the nose guard, just with a great pass rush. And that's unfortunate because they had a wide open Mark Walker who was running down the field, but you see Labatai had to set his feet and get hit as he throws. That's a great example of where the front end helps out the back end. Good complementary football there.
Another empty first down, though, so it's 2nd down and 10.
They threw it back to back. Let's see if they run it here. They do.
Terrell, 3 yards before T.D. Blackman hauls him down. And another long 3rd down situation for Navy. This is the area of the field. We talked about the drives that they've had. A couple over 30 yards, one near 30 yards. This is around the point of the field where they struggle. They're 0 of 7 now on 3rd down.
And that does not bode well, especially 3rd and long. And this was a problem for them a week ago. They had 5 3rd and 9 plus and 5 3rd and mediums, which is one of the reasons they struggle to convert and move the sticks.
Navy, their first of the half.
Niumatalolo did not like what he saw, and he'll burn a timeout. 3rd and 7 when we get back. Navy on the move, down by 7 at Air Force. The Home Depot College Football on CBS is sponsored by Taco Bell, State Farm, Dr. Pepper, and by Navy Federal Credit Union. Little glider training for you here. High above Colorado Springs. 10-3, Air Force on top. First leg of the Commander-in-Chief Trophy. Navy faced with 3rd down and 8. Lavatai lobs it up. Sideline. Did he hold it? Umbarger. Yes. It's a catch and a big first down.
I mean, this is just standard offense, a back shoulder throw that we see so much in college football. This is Lavatai's high school background. Great coverage there by Michael Mack, but man, Umbarger just goes up and snatches that football out of the air, semi-high pointing it, and you take a look, Mack had his hand in the face mask, all up in the grill of Umbarger, who still brings it down.
23 yards.
Uh-oh.
This is Haywood around the right side, cuts inside the 20. Haywood is down at the 19-yard line. That's a gain of 7. Camby Goff made the stop.
Keep your eye on the right tackle. I wondered if he was a little bit early here. Yes, he was. He was a half a step early. I saw that multiple times in the game that they had last week against ECU, but they didn't get called, just like it didn't get called there. Navy got a lucky break here in the red zone.
Look at this drive now. This is the longest they've had today. 73 yards and a good mix on the ground and in the air. Lavatai with time. And there's a lot of contact there, but no flag. Kamari Williams in the pattern. And it's incomplete. This will be 3rd down and 3.
Rich, I think the #1 trait for a quarterback is confidence and having poise. And man, has Ty Lavatai shown us that. He's throwing footballs that you just don't often see academies throw that are run-based. But because of his background as a high school, spread quarterback, he's very comfortable throwing his football accurately into really tight windows.
3rd down 3.
This is where the pressure has really helped Air Force.
Stay on the ground, and it got the first down inside the 15. Terrell to the 14-yard line, and they'll move the sticks, and this impressive drive continues.
Keep your eye on the center, David Hickson here. We've been hard on Navy's offensive line, but there he gets a key block that helps pick up the first down and move the sticks. That's a rare conversion that we've seen on 3rd down by Navy. Hickson helps it happen.
Fofana in the backfield. Haywood in motion. And Sanford makes a play. Also Christopher Herrera in there as well.
Yeah, he's been one of the players along with Jaden Thiergood that's been banged up. Give this defensive line of Air Force some credit. They've been holding their own. But you also got to give Navy some credit too, man. They're not a bunch of punks. What was it that Ken Niumatalolo said? We're not a ragtag offense. What'd he say?
We aren't some scrub program.
Yeah, we're not a bunch of scrubs.
We've won a lot of games here, and they have. He's the winningest coach in Navy history.
There's no quit in this team, man. They were down 10-0, and they just
a little wildcat here. Direct snap. Haywood trying to get to the edge. He's knocked out of bounds right at the 14-yard line.
Air Force's linebackers have been excellent today, and here you're going to see T.D. Blackman helping flatten things out, and then finally Michael Mack, the 3rd leading tackler on this team, stretching that thing out for a minimal gain.
78 yards on this drive, but 3rd down's been a problem all day. 2 of 2 on this drive, and this is an ambitious 3rd down and 10.
With the pressure that Air Force has been bringing, a screen pass might not be a bad call here for Navy, or a draw.
Lavatai, and boy, is he swallowed up. Alec Mock, the first to get to him. Bo Richter in there as well.
Bo Richter has so much versatility, but these guys are absolutely locked in. Great job by Bo Richter, both playing the pitch and holding his ground, and then squeezing down to corral Lavatai. That's a huge stop after Navy's best drive of the day to force the field goal here.
Daniel Davies was the third-string kicker going into last week's game, called upon in clutch moments. He was 3 of 3, hit 2 in overtime. He's hit today from short. This is 33 yards. Uh-oh. Missed it. Hold it left. And after 76 yards and 13 plays and 6 minutes, Navy comes up empty. Air Force holding on to a 7-point lead. Summon the duck. Better late than never. All right. Last team to lead FBS in rushing 3 or more consecutive seasons. You went old school Nebraska, or maybe even threw an Oklahoma wishbone in there. I was on it. Navy did it in 05 through 08. Of course, Paul Johnson was one of the mentors to Ken Niumatalolo. And that Daniel Davies missing his first kick of the year. He was a hero last week, hit that 43-yarder in the second overtime, and that turned out to be the game winner. Navy defense played very well here. Daniels in a little trouble, gets out of it, and turns it into a positive play of about 5 yards. Nicholas Straw made the stop.
There was immediate penetration, and it was a nice job by Daniels here to the right side of the offensive line, coming from behind. My goodness, Clay Cromwell almost blew that play all the way up, but the awareness of Daniels turns nothing into something.
Under 2 minutes left, third quarter. On a 2nd and 5. That's Eldridge in motion, takes the pitch. And the pursuit catches him at the 25. May get half a yard. Jacob Busick leading that charge for Navy defensively.
Rich, that's a perfect example of the lack of perimeter speed that this Air Force offense has been lacking. From that condensed formation, it becomes hard to out-leverage and get outside if you don't have the burners to do it. They tried to do it there with Eldridge, but Navy's defense was ready.
And their best burners are still down. Zach Larrier, Dane Kinnaman, DeAndre Hughes. And that's not going to get it done. Well, the ball pops loose. He's fumbled twice. Officials say it was down before it came loose. Daniels, he's short of the first down. They're marking the ball at the 28, 4th and 2.
Great job by Navy's defensive line as there's an injured player down there, maybe Clay Cromwell. There was immediate penetration there, and they're disrupting this Air Force offensive line that's been pretty dominant.
Man down, Clay Cromwell. And we're back after this. Both the cadets of Air Force and the mids of Navy have been creative with the signs and the costumes. Next Saturday, CBS Sports Network, Midshipmen back in action at home to Annapolis. And they'll take on Tulsa. That at 3:30 Eastern next weekend, CBS Sports Network. Another look at Daniels going down, and the ball clearly came out late. You can see he's down, and the ball's still in his grasp.
So it is, and if you're his coach, you don't want that ball to pop out no matter the situation, especially because he's put the ball on the ground 3 different times. Whether he's running, pitching, or trying to throw it, ball security is paramount for this team, especially when you have both of those. And there's Lieutenant General Richard Clark, Superintendent Lieutenant General Richard Clark, a.k.a. Bandstand, obviously, after Dick Clark. Great player here in the mid-'80s. And
great nickname.
Had a nice play against Notre Dame, which I won't go into.
Oh, I think his own man hit him. Ball's loose, may have been touched by Navy, but Navy seems to have fallen on it. I mean, look, in special teams breakdown and film on Monday, they're going to look at this 3 different ways and say, guys,
Yeah, there's no question. They lost concentration and were a little careless, like I was talking over this punt.
Hey, our film session on Monday, we'll look at this as well.
It's all good there. A Navy player didn't touch it, but it looked like. And I don't know if that was Anton Hall, probably Kyle Jacob, panicked a little bit. And that's what the first touch was. And then all of a sudden it becomes a live ball. And thank goodness Joe Hudson gets down on that football for Navy and recovers it. That's why you got to make the calls to get away from the football.
Peter. That's the traditional. I don't know. There must have been a special teams player in the 40s named Peter who didn't get away from a punt, and thus they're going to review this.
There must have been.
I mean, was that when you were at De La Salle High School and I was at Alhambra in the same neck of the woods? Was that the call on the special team?
That certainly was.
We used that as well. Notre Dame use it?
I think most football teams use it.
Packers use it?
It's one of those things that you don't forget once you hear it and understand and are coached up about it. And I think it's a good decision for these guys to take a look at it, and they're trying to figure out where the ball should be spotted.
Well, if it was touched first by the punting team, the ball's dead. And
ruling on the field, the ball was illegally touched by the kicking team and recovered by the receiving team. That play is under further review.
And so that's exactly what they're looking at. Fair catch called for.
Thought that should have been some kick-catch interference there, because you have to give at least a half a yard. And that was the hit in there by Kyle Jacob.
Oh, and this is I know this is
oh, he's going to be all over this.
A little bit confusing, but this is great because
Gene.
Now we can go to the referee lounge and visit with Gene Steratore. Gene, how are you?
I'm doing well, guys. I'm doing well. A little break at the lounge here,
yes.
But let me speak to a few of the things that are happening here. First and foremost, because both players were engaged blocking near the receiver there, they won't have a foul for running into the kick-catch interference type of aspect of that.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands.
And we see the referee with a quick announcement.
Yeah.
So the referee decided that there was a first touch by the punting team before the ball hit the Navy player. And in that case, the punting team or receiving team would always have the option of returning the ball back to the spot of first touching. And in this case, no foul for the block again because two players engaged near the receiver. And then they deemed that the Air Force player touched the ball prior to the Navy player touching it. They'll go up to that first touch spot and give Navy the ball 1st and 10.
And you're right. They put it on the spot of first touching. Lavatai fires it out. And it's caught there by Kai Quailoa Rojas. And he's knocked out of bounds. Gene, thanks for the visit. And stick around. We may need you again. Third quarter in the books. Navy hanging in there. Their defense has been spectacular. Offense is starting to move the ball. And this makes for a terrific fourth quarter coming up in Colorado Springs. 7-point ball game. Easy there, guys. Easy. All right. 10-3, Air Force on top. Today's installment of Navy's Greatest Legends, brought to you by The Exchange. We take a look at Navy linebacker Bobby McLaren. Get this, 2003, broke his wrist, but he insisted on playing. And with a big cast, made a crucial deflection in that year's game versus Air Force, and then a monster tackle at the goal line against Army. We salute you, Bobby McLaren. Will Harbor there at 54 also has a club. Look at that right wrist. He busted his wrist, had surgery, and he is available. Xavier Arline is in right now for Navy. He's a better runner, and there's the speed on 2nd down and 8, and he picks up the first down.
Great decision to put him in, especially with marrying it up with that play call. You mentioned it. He's not quite the thrower, but my goodness, watch the acceleration once he gets here. He reads and boom, it's just a follow play, and that acceleration gets a pickup for the first down, and in his first carry, he's already got a longer carry than we saw Lavatai in the first 3 quarters.
Yeah, that's 9 yards. Remember, they tried to get him in the game, but had to call a timeout and lost that surprise. This time, it's Terrell, and Air Force is all over that. Vince Sanford The linebacker. These linebackers for Air Force really good. Sanford, Blackman, and Mock.
They've been phenomenal today. Sanford's the leading tackler with 9, Mock with 8. Trey Taylor, a DB. And that's Sanford's 10th tackle for the day. Just really flattening out this Navy offense and running around the field with their hair on fire.
Just underway, fourth quarter, tight game, first leg, Commander-in-Chief Trophy, Air Force, Navy. Our-line again. He's got another nice game. Flags down. Or excuse me, it's Lavatai who's back into the ball game. Alec Mock made the stop, and let's sort out.
Ooh, they may be looking at targeting here. This might be a good opportunity to bring Gene back in. We're speaking of legends.
Well, they're discussing it right now, and obviously the crew, which is from the American Conference, up in the replay booth, is watching this.
Personal foul. Targeting. Defense. Number 40. That play is under further review.
Oh, wow.
That's Mock. He's engaged by a blocker.
With a blocker, and he does, by the technical part of the rule, drop his head in the crown, and now it's, you know, the 6 inches above the circumference. My goodness, this would be a huge blow to Air Force's defense, and really unfortunate for a guy who's played his tail off today, who was just playing football there.
This is going to be a big review. Mock is one of their best defenders. There's the targeting on the left. Then we bring back Gene Steratore. There's a lot of things going on here, Gene. What do you see?
An awful lot, and I think the two things that we need to look at are the indicators for targeting. As you've already mentioned, it needs to be with the crown of the helmet, a 6-inch circumference around the top of the head. I don't know if we are completely there yet. The question that I have, though, is when the defender is bracing to make this tackle. After he braces to make the tackle, does he initiate force forward to the runner in an attacking fashion, which then would also have to be an indicator to have targeting? To me, it looks like he's engaged with an offensive lineman. Yes, does he lower his head? Yes, but I don't know that this is a full feeling, from my opinion, of him attacking with that helmet or that crown. And I think that's what they'll be discussing as they review this play.
So what's the... there's no compromise, right? It's either targeting or it's not.
That's right. And that's the challenge.
Yeah, and that's
here.
A good point, Rich. You know, and prior to this season, we used to have what we would call a stands play. So if it was ruled targeting and they don't have something really definitive to pull it off, they would stay with the stands. That has changed. All indicators must show for them to stay with targeting. And again, in my opinion, I just don't think all of those indicators were met.
Yeah, losing Mock would hurt. And remember the new wrinkle this year, if he is out for the rest of this half, Air Force can appeal to the conference, the Mountain West Conference, and try to get him back for the first half.
There is no foul for targeting. It's third down.
First half of the next game, but that's point is moot, not targeting. One more look at it, Gene.
Great explanation by Gene there at all the indicators, and I agreed with this. This would have been a really tough break there because he's engaged with the offensive lineman. He does drop his head, but he drives forward just trying to make a football play. Nothing dirty about that. Bang, bang, and hats off to the officials for getting this one correct.
It's a big third down at 5. Our-line back in there, handed off to Daba Fofana, and Fofana fights his way for a first down. And Navy's drive continues, a big third down conversion to the 34.
It was huge, and Fofana was a big factor in that game against DCU. 15 carries, 94 yards last week. He left this game earlier being a little banged up, but man, did he fight for that first down there.
So we've seen our-line come in a few times on this drive. Ken Niumatalolo indicated that our line probably was going to see some action.
Can Navy finish drives? That's been their problem here through 3 quarters.
Around the bend goes Haywood. Mock and Richter making the stop. Don't forget, later in the game, play of the game presented by Jersey Mike's Subs.
Those are so sneaky good. My kids get those after practice a lot.
That will be the play after the game for you.
It'll be one of my 2 breakfasts.
Second down and 9. Lavatai back into the ball game. He's had a really nice day throwing the ball. 10 of 16, 102 yards. Second down, 9. Lavatai to throw. Lobs it up towards the end zone. Caught at the 5. Walker holds it. First and goal, Navy.
Walker's banged up a little bit on the play, but how about Ty Lavatai again? With pressure in his face, he throws up a prayer, and Mark Walker answers it. This has been the problem all day. Doesn't follow through, but he places the ball perfectly to Walker.
27 yards, first and goal, Navy. We're back after this. Adam, thank you. Here, Navy is trailed throughout, but they're on the doorstep, first and goal. Football marked at the 6-yard line. Ty Lavatai with that gorgeous throw. And you see this drive. Back into the ball game is Xavier Arline, a better running quarterback.
Some confusion there by Air Force, late adjustment.
And Arline will keep it, slithers through, not much going to the 5-yard line.
Rich, let's go back and take a look at that long reception to Mark Walker. Lavatai, with people in his face, just drops a bomb, and just an incredibly well-placed ball and a hard catch looking over his shoulder to track that in. Unbelievable. And those are the sorts of plays you need to make to give yourself a chance in this game. Wouldn't it be great if they score a touchdown here, get tied, maybe go to like 2 or 3 overtimes?
Hey, I'm all on board. Arline, option, and the option is no gain because there were about 5 Falcons waiting for it. That's well defended. And look, both these teams defend the option a lot, spring ball practice, so they know the ins and outs and the fundamentals. And a timeout here on a mammoth 3rd and goal from the 5. Navy down 7 with an opportunity to get in the end zone. The Home Depot College Football on CBS is sponsored by Today's Military, Smile Direct Club, Rocket Mortgage, and by Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. 10-3, 10:54 left in this football game. Huge 3rd and goal from the 5. First decision is which quarterback?
I think you have to put Ty Lavatai in here. You can't run up the middle. You're not going to be able to stretch him out. I love play action here and try to take advantage of Air Force's aggression on 3rd down. It's a pass all the way.
Haywood in motion. Lavatai pulls it, takes it, scores! Touchdown, Navy! How about that?
Incredible. This was a pass all the way, turn back protection. The middle of the defense just absolutely vacated. That was not a designed draw, but a heads-up play by Ty Lavatai. Gets the final 5 yards, and finally, Navy finishes a drive to possibly tie this thing up.
10 plays, 59 yards. Lavatai looked to throw it, decided to keep it, and this game finally is all tied up. Fourth quarter, Navy finally in the end zone.
Yeah, playmakers make plays, and they capped off that 10-play drive with a spontaneous play by their quarterback. This is just going to be full turn back protection, but the key players are here. Keep your eyes there because they're going to follow these receivers out which completely opens up the middle of the field, and that's what Lavatai sees. Air Force defended this beautifully, but Lavatai saw the sea open up, and boy, did he part it and walk in the end zone to tie this one up.
Masterfully drawn and executed by Lavatai.
How about my drawing?
Oh, you're good. Excellent.
Give me a yellow crayon. I'm all over.
Film session for us on Monday. Going to be good. Maury Terry, her catch called for and made. Coming up next, top 20 matchup. We're headed to the SEC. Number 2, Alabama. Number 20, Arkansas. Bryce Young in Alabama. KJ Jefferson in Arkansas. Brad Nessler, Gary Danielson, Jenny Dell standing by.
Yeah, Arkansas has really struggled with their pass defense. Jalen Catalon going down really hurt them. Texas A&M wasn't able to take advantage of them through the air, but Alabama probably will.
Eldridge in motion, pitch to Roberts, and Roberts bangs his way through for a pickup of 9 yards. Rayon Lane makes his 8th tackle of the day, and it's 2nd down and 1.
Yeah, Brad Roberts has been pretty quiet Navy for 2 years in a row, doing a really nice job of defending the run and taking him out of it. But this is the power that Roberts runs with. He's 5'11", 215 pounds. He's not that big bruising fullback, but boy, can he run behind his pads. Great balance there.
57 yards, 14 carries. And Roberts this time, another chunk. Across the 40, out to the 43-yard line. This is a guy that wanted to go to Colorado. They didn't want him. Maybe Colorado State. They talked to him. Nobody offered him a scholarship. Air Force did. He's a local kid. He's a Colorado guy. And he's going to walk out of here one of the greatest runners in Air Force history.
Making his former teammates at Ralston Valley High in the Knight Riders squadron pretty happy if he does.
Look at you dropping some high school knowledge. Daniels on an option, flips it out. Eldridge in the air, breaks a tackle, bounces off of another, and he's out to the 46-yard line. It's a gain of about 4.
Well, the club got there, Will Harbor, with that big cast on his hand, and he was tracking it from behind right there. He misses the tackle, though. There was a good edge set by the defense, but the pursuit didn't do its job, and Eldridge did, picking up a nice gain there.
Not just the club guy, Will Harbor. Surgery on that hand and wrist. About 2 weeks ago, got the casts in the ball game. Roberts. He hits the hole so quickly. And he's inside Navy territory at the 48-yard line.
Brad Roberts has a chance to be the most decorated, most productive fullback in Air Force history. Look at these yards. He's, man, help me out with the math there, but a little under 400 yards shy of being the all-time rushing leader as a fullback.
Well, I'm right there with you. Under 400 yards is a good way to say it.
It's like, oh, there's a lot of 8s and 6s in there.
They got the first down. Roberts is picking up 1 yard there. He's amazing. He's so durable, and he takes so much punishment. He's the first guy through the fullback in his career. He has 12 100-yard games, and if he keeps it up here, he's going to get to 100. He's at 73 right now.
Well, ball security's been a problem all day for Air Force, and right there, Roberts puts it on the ground. Remember, Rich, we had him earlier this year. He had never lost a fumble, but lost his first in Wyoming and got lucky there.
Daniels, quick release, caught there. That's Brandon Engel, the junior out of Dallas. That's a first down, and they mark it at the 32-yard line.
Yeah, come to an academy game and a spread offense opens up. Look at that going through his reads, coming backside. Zeke Daniels dropping dimes.
Both these quarterbacks look like they could step back into their high school offenses, run the spread out of shotgun, and light it up.
It's an exponential weapon if you've got the defense keyed in to stopping your run, but have a quarterback that can deal it like that.
They are in field goal range right now. Daniels, and caught from behind by Gibbons, or else he would have had another 5 to 10 yards. That's 9 yards on that carry.
Here's that goat package again with the 4 defensive linemen They just run themselves out of the hole. They don't cancel their gaps as Zeke Daniels uses his eyes and some savvy and picks up 9 on first down.
That's the GOAT package.
4 defensive linemen, 1 middle backer. You walk your outside linebackers up on the line of scrimmage.
Not named after Navy mascot Bill the GOAT, who is here. And that's a flag and movement, and that is going to cost
False
Air
start.
Force.
Offense, number 59. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Rich, that's a crucial penalty, because if you don't convert this and then have to force yourself to kick a field goal, 2nd and 1 from the 22-yard line is where you want to be. But that's Adam Karras, their right tackle, who moves a little bit early. Last weekend, Everett Smalley got called for a clipping. There was a false start on the other right tackle, Caleb Holcomb. Some uncharacteristic mistakes by Air Force could cost them dearly here just outside the red zone.
Jefferson in motion, Roberts in the backfield. On 2nd down, Daniels being chased, fires it out, caught there, Jefferson with it, up the sideline, and knocked out of bounds. And Air Force at the 11-yard line with a 1st and 10.
Ooh, Rich, we might have to take a look. The umpire took quite the shot. Keep your eye right here, but this is just a rollout. Daniel Cormier hits him. But Zeke Daniels doing a nice job of being patient and hitting Ben Jefferson in stride for the huge pickup.
17 yards.
Negates that penalty, and now if you're Air Force, you're thinking touchdown. They could still get a 1st down here because they're on the 11-yard line.
Under 6 minutes left, ball game. Roberts is at the 7. If you've just joined this game and you're looking at Air Force and going, what's up with the uniforms? These are Space Force uniforms, and Semper Supra is the motto, always above. Semper Supra. And so Space Force, which is part of the Air Force, and some of these players, as they get to their senior year, get to choose on which area they want to go in the academy. Some are choosing Space Force. 2nd and 7. Roberts again. He can get a 1st down around the 1. Colin Ramos keeps him at the 3.
There's a slow player getting up for Air Force here. One of the differences is Navy's defense is hitting the running backs at the line of scrimmage, but Roberts' power pushes the pile and picks up a crucial couple additional yards. As we take a look here at their center, Tor Paglialong, who's slow to get up.
10-10. Air Force on the doorstep. Back after this. 10-10. Air Force and Navy. New on CBS. Take a ride along through the thrilling streets of East New York, starring Amanda Warren, Jimmy Smits, and Richard Kind. From the producers of NYPD Blue comes the new series East New York, premiering tomorrow after The Equalizer on CBS.
So several things here to consider. First of all, Air Force doesn't have to score here. They can still get a 1st down and chew up more clock. Navy only has 1 timeout. Air Force really wants a touchdown.
Roberts is hit and he stopped. He's going to lose a yard.
Huge
Tyler
play.
Fletcher coming through.
Man, what a great job by Brian Newberry's defense to hold there. They really struggled inside to stop, and they forced the field goal. That's huge for them with a little over 4 minutes there. You see his hands to his head there. His unit has really responded. The fact that Navy forces Air Force to kick a field goal significantly increases their chances here of tying this back up, assuming they make it here at the end of the 4th quarter.
DePore, a shorty from 22, and he knocks it through. So a really nice drive, 12 plays, 71 yards, and a 3-point lead for Troy Calhoun and the Falcons. Bravo is back. Yes, it is. 13-10. Air Force on top of Navy. We're talking SEAL Team starring David Boreanaz, and it's now streaming exclusively on Paramount Plus. Don't have to look too hard to find the uniforms here. Plenty of Navy representation. The mids have come out. Not many naval bases in Colorado, but Bill the Goat confident in the offense. Navy going to get the football down 3. It's been a while since Navy has come to Colorado Springs and gone home with a win. That's Mikael Haywood deep for the Midshipmen. And again, as Aaron pointed out, just one timeout. A little over 4 minutes left. How long has it been since they came here and got a win, you asked? Let's go back to October 2012. Air Force had a field goal at the end of regulation to send the game to overtime and missed it on Navy's first possession. Keenan Reynolds, boy, was he a great player. Fumbled into the end zone, but it was recovered by a teammate, Jake Zuzek, for the touchdown. Air Force's possession. They did not get any points, didn't get in the end zone, and Navy won it 28-21. Keenan Reynolds was one of the great quarterbacks in Navy history. All right, here we go. Labatai's in there.
All right, so you see Air Force is making an adjustment now. Look at the play clock.
Well, they'll let them, they're actually going to reset it because of the substitutions, correct?
Well, Navy started this.
Delay game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Navy started this with their receiver running on late. That automatically allows the defense to make a change, and Air Force's staff very smartly makes a change because they were looking at the play clock. Keep up your eye up here. He was the player that came on late, so here's Air Force making the change as the play clock goes down. Beautiful execution there by Air Force and a costly mistake by Navy.
Labatai's throw is behind Haywood, and the penalty, and now an incompletion. And suddenly, on the pivotal drive of the game, Ken Niumatalolo's team is looking at 2nd and 15.
That's crucial. Every single thing matters with under 4 minutes or around 4 minutes in a game that you're hoping to tie up or win with a touchdown. They start off with a penalty. Now you're 2nd and 15, which is high percentage throw. If you're Air Force, watch the draw.
Air Force has been blitzing all day. They bring 4. Labatai time and underthrows his receiver. And look, there's 4 minutes left. They only have the one timeout. This feels like 4-down territory because Air Force may not give them the ball back.
That's a great point, Rich. And remember, Navy's only got one timeout left, so you got to be careful how much risk you're willing to take, because if Air Force gets this ball back, you're right, it's very likely not going back to Navy, and you lose your advantage in an obvious pass situation.
Now, you don't have to get all the 15 back here, but some semblance of a gain would make 4th down a lot easier.
You're hoping for 4th and 4 or less here.
Blitz coming. Labatai, time, fires, middle. It is dropped. In and out of the hands of Terrell. Canby Goff on the coverage. 4th and 15 now.
Canby Goff was all over this. We've seen Labatai throw balls into tight windows, but this time it was Canby Goff, the junior out of Reynoldsburg, Ohio, that gets his left hand on that ball, and Terrell, who was such the hero a week ago, can't come up with the tough catch.
And he had the yardage for the first down. And Navy's going to punt on 4th and 15. 4 minutes left. Reithman, low line drive. Terry going to let that bounce. And if Air Force can get a first down here and run some clock, they will have the first win of the first leg of the Commander-in-Chief Trophy. And right now, Troy Calhoun, Ken Niumatalolo, who for the 15th time are matched up in this rivalry. Looking at the charts and pacing.
So much familiarity. Well, these are the keys of the game that we talked about. Navy needed some early first down success. 6.7 yards to go on 3rd down as Air Force is getting under center pretty quick.
Roberts, 2 hands on the ball, busting through, still on his feet, into Navy territory, all the way to the 43.
That was so easy, it almost makes me think Navy was trying to let them move the football or something. They got 6 men on the line of scrimmage, but it's just beautifully blocked at the perimeter. Roberts trucks a defender for Navy, and Air Force is feeling themselves understandably.
That's a great verb to describe Roberts. He's trucked his way to 104 yards on 21 carries. That's his longest of the day at 24 yards. And the football sits in the Navy 43. They still have just that one timeout.
Here's that 6-1, the GOAT package.
Roberts, that's a hard-earned 4 yards. And Navy will take their final timeout. Colin Ramos makes the stop. So do the math here. They're going to need some stops. Second down when we get back. Air Force with the ball and the lead. 3 minutes left in the fourth. Both coaches burning up the headset right now. 13-10, Air Force on top. Brad Roberts, look at the two guys he's between. Just two legendary quarterbacks here at Air Force. Bo Morgan and D. Dowis.
Unbelievable. How good was Jacoby Owens?
Yes.
We saw him not too long ago. Okay, here's the deal. With no timeouts, Navy can't stop this clock. So if you're Air Force that has had ball security issues, you're either taking a knee here is probably the smartest thing, or turn around and hand it to Brad Roberts, who covers it up and falls forward and bleed at least 3 minutes off of this clock at a minimum.
And then force either a field goal attempt, which might not be a wise move, or a pooch punt. Roberts, and they do stuff him. That's a big stop. Watch the play clock on your screen. As they get the ball, it starts immediately once the official gets it and starts to spot and place the football. So the play clock is running, the game clock is running, and this is 3rd down and 6 for Troy Calhoun and the Falcons.
Yeah, they'll have to snap this ball at 2 in the teens here on 3rd down.
Still a lot of hope there with the mids. Daniels waiting. Certainly a timeout coming from Air Force once it gets to 1. And so Air Force will talk it over. Not dead yet. 13-10 Air Force. Zeke Daniels in Air Force has the ball in the lead, but a 3rd and 6. No timeouts for Navy. Inside the 40. Daniels reverses course. Daniels is the first down. Still on his feet. And slides before going out of bounds. And that could just about do it.
That's ball game. This is just a follow play, basically a quarterback lead. They pull the backside guard and tackle. It's blocked beautifully. Zeke Daniels runs with power, smart enough to fall down inbounds there. Beautifully, beautifully executed by the Falcons, Rich. And this one's a wrap. Good block by Everett. Smalley helped spring him. And there's no way that Navy can stop the clock. And if you're Daniels, you can see a minute and a half left. Play clock is down. 1st and 10. Take a knee. Let it roll. And this is going to be, barring a disaster here, an Air Force win. Their 3rd straight in this rivalry. Give Navy a ton of credit. Air Force scored on their first 2 possessions. Looked like they were going to blow Navy out. Defense got better. Offense clicked into gear in the second half. But Air Force, a 3-point lead, and we are under a minute left. Give a lot of credit to Brian Newberry's defensive squad. Held Air Force, the nation's leader in rushing, to just 202 yards. But when it comes to 4-minute offense time and you got to control the line of scrimmage, Air Force did that, and that really was the difference here. Again, Air Force calling a timeout, letting the play clock go down to 1. Well, Brad Roberts over 100 yards. Zeke Daniels had some fumble issues. One of those, he was hit from behind while throwing, but he was 6 of 8 for 156 yards. Had that big 67-yard
hookup to David Cormier.
Incredible. Completed 75% of his balls today, did Zeke Daniels. Ty Labattai threw it pretty well, too.
Yeah, 11 of 20, 129. I'll tell you what, too, about Navy. They did not play well in their first 2 games, lost them. They played really well on the road in a tough place at East Carolina and won in 2 overtimes. If they play like last week and they play like this week, they're going to win games in the American.
Well, Rich, there's a flag, and the officials have just moved the ball back considerably. Looks like 15 yards. Wait for the call here.
After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct, taunting, offense, number 4. This is first unsportsmanlike conduct out of the game. 15-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Could you imagine if this was a situation where you needed a field goal to win or to tie, how huge that 15 yards would have been?
All right, so this is after he took a knee. Daniels, number 4. A verbal taunt there. Officials are listening. They can hear it all. Daniels will take a knee. They don't like each other, that's for sure. Air Force and Navy. Both coaches said, though, there's a keen respect for what both coaches have accomplished. What Troy Calhoun has accomplished here and what Ken Niumatalolo has accomplished at Navy.
It's incredible. Ken Niumatalolo is a Hall of Fame coach. You look at what he's done, what he's accomplished. I know the program hasn't been where Midshipmen fans expect it to be. It certainly hasn't been where he's wanted to be these last 3 years. But these guys are as consistent and successful as college football coaches that we have.
And that is that. Air Force beats Navy. They are a win away against Army to recapturing the Commander-in-Chief trophy. And these 2 coaches facing each other for the 15th time will meet at midfield. And then one of the coolest traditions in college football, the alma mater for both Navy and for Air Force.
Well, we started this game today talking about the fact that this is the purest form of football that our sport has to offer. An absolute expose on blocking and tackling and everything that's good about our sport.
Air Force will dive back into the Mountain West Conference play. Navy back into the American Conference. There they are.
Mountain West is a mess this year. Air Force has a real good shot if they can stay healthy. They lost Kyle Patterson today, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. But, man, they're playing really well on both sides of the football.
And as you can see, our Sherry Burris right now down there with Troy Calhoun. And let's go down there now. Sherry?
Thanks, Rich. Well, Coach, Zeke lost those 2 fumbles, but able to put the team on his back, I guess you could say on his arm. What do you say about his performance in this one?
Well, I mean, for everybody. I mean, really both teams. I mean, the heart, the resolve. If you aren't anybody in this stadium, you feel lucky that these are cadets and our midshipmen that are fighting for our country. I mean, just amazing. Both sides, I mean, the effort and the whole bit. And hats off to Navy and hats off to our guys for their guts and their perseverance.
Is this an emotional win for you, Coach?
No, I just, the admiration that you have, you're playing whenever you play and honor the opposing team and our guys too. I mean, it's so far beyond football and sports.
We appreciate the time. Thank you. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
Navy alma mater, and now they race to the other side of the field where the Air Force cadets and the Air Force band is waiting. And Navy will follow.
Everybody wants to sing second.
That's right. In these games, The winner sings second.
Try your best to sing, boys and girls. Look and sing, girls.
Crowd here in Colorado Springs at the Air Force Academy. We watched a terrific football game. Air Force beats Navy 13-10. Time now for the play of the game presented by Jersey Mike's Subs. How about this play of the game? 67 yards. Zeke Daniels. David Poirier. That's how it looked. How did it sound? Let's listen to the voice, Jim Arthur of the Falcons.
Air Force!
Had a baby, Jim. Of course, we will have on CBS the next two games in this series. 18, nice job today. This was fun.
Yeah, this was fun. This is what we expected. Man, what effort by both of these squads, but Air Force finds a way to get it done.
Air Force wins the first leg of the Commander-in-Chief Trophy race as they beat Navy by 3. For Aaron Taylor, Sherry Burris, Gene Steratore, our entire CBS crew, I'm Rich Waltz. So long from Colorado Springs. Back to Adam Zucker and company for the State Farm College Football Today right after these messages. So long.